Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm a huge fan of the NYXI Joy-Pad, and the nice people at NYXI Gaming sent over another pair, but this time in one of their new colors, which happens to be their current most popular model, the milk version. For those of you new to my channel, I reviewed the original black color with some skepticism, but after testing those out, making a video, and then using them non-stop for the past 4 to 5 months, they've officially become my everyday controller for the Switch. For anyone who'd rather see that video, there's a link in this video's description for the black model, but essentially the milk or white color version are exactly the same, and I'll be going over all the same features in this video too. So first off, it comes in the same box, but don't be fooled, the milk version or white version of the joypad is inside of here, and as mentioned, it shares all the same features as the original black color joypad and pretty much every other model joypad on NYXI Gaming's website. While getting this box opened, let me mention that my promo code for NYXI Gaming does still work, and for anyone interested in using it, use promo code WowVJsLTR for $10 off any purchase of $40 or more on the NYXI Gaming website. I've mentioned this in the past that I don't take endorsing things lightly, but I am a fan of these controllers, and they've made gaming on the Switch a far better experience than using the original Joy-Cons, so that's why I gladly accepted this promo code, so all of that information can be found in this video's description. So with that out of the way, the milk colored joypad looks really nice. I believe they're supposed to be reminiscent of the OLED Switch white Joy-Cons, so these are alternatives that you can use if you don't want to use Joy-Cons that drift. So if this is your first time watching a joypad video with me, here are the thorough instructions. You can see the charging instructions as well as turbo function, how to adjust the vibration and the lights, and we'll be going over all of those features in this video shortly. The joypads themselves have a better ergonomic feel than the Hori split pad. I've mentioned this in my other video, but they feel like a cross between the split pad and an Xbox controller. So they're also very light, around 0.165 kilograms, which is 0.36 pounds or 5.8 ounces. So don't let that deter you. I've had the black ones for 5 months and they are used practically every day, and they're still active and functioning, and they've been dropped many times, so they do have some durability as well too. The appearance of these joypads look fantastic to me. I love the contrast of the black buttons with the white shell. It looks so good, one of my favorite color schemes. And here is the controller attachment, just a normal rectangle, but it does its job and makes the joypad comfortable in the hand when you want to use them wirelessly. I wanted to mention this right away, that these joypads have their own battery, so unlike the Hori Split Pad Pro, which is infamous for draining the Switch's battery, these run off their own power source, and to connect them to the Switch is just as easy as normal Joy-Cons. Attach and detach and you're good to go in wireless mode, but my preference for these items are usually in handheld mode because they're just so ergonomically effective and just make gaming so much more comfortable while playing your Switch in handheld mode. For the sake of this portion, I'll use them wirelessly just to show off some of the features. So there's 2 main buttons on the back, an M and a T, one's for mode and one's for turbo. So let's go over those. The first thing we're going to go over is how to switch the light colors, and all you have to do is press the T button on the back and then press in which analog stick that you want to adjust. I'll turn off one of my lights so y'all can see it better, and the video is sped up at this portion, but I will slow it down for the pulsing or breathing effect. So there's about 8 colors including the rainbow. So you double tap the stick and you get into pulse or breathing mode, and then this is actually how slow it is. It just transitions between all of the colors, so it's going from red to orange to yellow, and I'll just do the whole entire cycle. It's really slow, so I'm not going to show off the whole entire thing, but if you do it 3 times, you get into a breathing rainbow mode, so that rainbow effect will just do that little breathing or pulsing pattern over and over again. Same applies to the left side. Hold the T button and then just start pressing in the stick just so you can switch the colors, and then you double tap for the pulse of the transition breathing effect between all of the colors, and then triple tap for the rainbow effect as well too. Very simple. And really cool to change on the fly, especially if you're in the middle of streaming and people can see your controller. I think it's one of those cool things. And with this white controller, it just pops a little bit more compared to the black model that I featured in the past. So really nice touches. The next thing that I want to show regarding the lights, and I need to pick something that's a bit more vibrant so you can see on camera, so I'll choose red, is how to dim or brighten them. So all you have to do is hold down the T button on the back and then hold in the analog stick on whatever side you're adjusting at that moment, and it will go through the dimming cycle or the brightening cycle, and you just stop on which color or which brightness level you want it to be on. Continuing with the T button functions, this is also how you adjust the vibration of the joypads. Hold down the T button button on whichever joypad you want to adjust and press the analog stick up or down to increase or decrease the vibration level. The vibration is quite vigorous on these joypads, so you should be able to hear them when I'm adjusting it, so I'll be quiet for a bit and get back to you all with the next function. So those are all the functions that I can show off without actually playing a Nintendo Switch game. So let me get a dock set up, plug it into the Elgato, and let's try out the back buttons and turbo feature of this controller while playing a different game, not Animal Crossing today or Smash Brothers. Let's give it a try on Pokemon Unite. But before that, I want to show off that these actually do have their own battery source. So as you can see right there in the bottom left-hand corner, each Joy-Con has a battery meter. So that means it has its own power supply. So when attached to the Switch, it should show its own power supply as well too, and you can see the right side has one. Now let's get the left side in. Sorry, it's behind the second little split screen right there, and you can see that it's actually charging. The left side had a little bit less juice, so I'll make sure to charge that fully later on. Let's get it back onto the little dock right here, and then you can see that it's transitioning back to the bottom left hand corner, and you can see that the joypad has its own battery, or each side has its own battery. So let's get Pokemon Unite started up and finally try out the back buttons and the turbo. So the left D-pad and the left analog stick is working. I'm just going to do a custom match, set it to a really small map, and then just make myself the only character or player in the game so we can try out some of these buttons and see if everything works. But so far, everything is functional and everything looks like it's going nice and strong. So hopefully these hold up just as well as the black ones. I don't see why they wouldn't. NYXI Gaming's quality control is pretty darn good. So if something ever happens to these, if there's some sort of catastrophic malfunction or failure with these joypads, I'll definitely make an update video and share that with you all. Fortunately, I haven't had to make one for the black version, and fingers crossed the same applies to the milk version. With that, let's try out the controller and see if it's functional and all of the buttons work. Well, this might not be the best example because you don't use all of the buttons on this game, but I'm going to mash that A button and see if it survives. So A is responsive. I'm going to be quiet for a little while, and then when we get to the back buttons and turbo, I will come back. So I'm going to shut up and mash these buttons for a few seconds. Alright, let's try out the back button. All you do is press M, press the button you want to choose, which is A, the obvious choice for this game. They call it the 3R button, and it works instantly. Now the 3R, or the back right paddle, is the A button. Alright, now on to the fun part, the turbo button. So if you hold down the T button, and then you press A or whatever button you want to set as turbo, if you do it one time, that's the turbo function. So you have to hold down the button and then turbo is initiated. You can see that my ring around Bulbasaur is very rapid. And if you want automatic turbo, you just set it one more time and it's hands-free and he's attacking on his own. Jeez, that's so convenient. Could you imagine like on Mario Party if you have to mash a certain button? Ah, yeah, cheaters, don't don't take that into account if you're going to use one of these things and play with your friends, or do if you want to be that jerk, but whatever. Let's go evolve into Ivysaur. So the left side can't really be highlighted too much, but I can show you ZL, which I don't currently have at the moment, but it will show a little blip around that button and it should highlight it. So every time I press it, it should show some sort of reaction. So let's get ZL set up as the back button and turbo button as well too. So I'm setting ZL as the back button. So as soon as I have that set up, you can see the little button right there toggling or shaking. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set ZL as a turbo button as well too. And fun fact, you can actually use the back paddle with the turbo. So whatever button set as turbo and as that back paddle will be used as both. So holding it down, you can see it's effective right there. And then the full automatic turbo, hands free, and you can see that little button shaking. So let me make it bigger real quick just for those who don't notice what I'm talking about. you're welcome. Anyway, so that's pretty much all the functions for this controller, and I'm just ecstatic that this works. The color scheme is one of my favorites of all time for any sort of controller. Really glad that I have this to add to my collection, and it's definitely going to replace the black ones for me. So overall, these joypads work the same, feel the same, and are just as enjoyable as the black model. So for anyone interested in checking this out on NYXI Gaming's website, there's a link down below. And don't forget that I have a promo code WowVGSLTR, just like my YouTube channel name, for $10 off any $40 or more on their website. And this is good for the whole entire site, not just for these Joy-Cons right here. So just like the last set I did an unboxing and demo for, I give this my thumbs up, and I hope that y'all enjoyed the video. With that, if you did like this video, feel free to check out these others. They might interest you. If you really liked hanging out with me today, please consider subscribing to be the first to know when I upload something new or even go live on a stream. And for those who want to support the channel just a bit more, check out my memberships and maybe you'll see your name at the beginning or end of my next video. I'll see you all soon. Please stay safe out there. Goodbye.